Autumn. Quietly, over the past weeks, a gentle autumn sun has painted colored leaves upon the ground and thinned the bright abundance of the wooded ranges. Most of the harvest is securely stored by now, or sold at morning markets by weathered men and women in country gards. Vintners are busy with their lots, fermenting grapes and entertaining those who see their visit as pleasant pastime and escape from daily urban chores. Hunters and lumbermen are waking up to shoot and mark. Schools by this time have settled into the new year. Teachers are happy still to share the knowledge of our world with students still inclined to listen. Businessmen, remembering their vacations on the Bahamas or in Saint-Tropez, step brightly into offices womaned by secretaries dreaming secretly of beautiful Mallorca summers and of those never-ending nights on the Algarve. I guess it is a human thing to find a new beginning and do best when nature's breath goes easy to collect the strength for yet another fruitful year. Or were it better that we also took a rest? Bright day. There are those days so sunny and so bright that you begin to think this is the time for some achievement that excels, of which the people tell for many years admiring stories of heroic deeds. The morning passes, then the afternoon. The sun sets casually as usual. The moon is hiding behind clouds. And when night falls in earnest, shrouds the world in darkness, you recognize that though the day was bright, it was the day, not you, that people might remember. Rain's beauty. Drops falling steadily upon a misty world. Far more than 50 shades of green dazzle your senses, make you almost hear trees, bushes, flowers, drinking sustenance, ecstatically dancing in the rain. Hold on. No global warming. When the tide is high, fish are splashing on Main Street. The groundwater begins to taste like the Atlantic Ocean. Soon Florida margaritas will not need salt on the rim of their cocktail glasses. The lemons will have enough. To protect its citizens from the dire consequences of rising sea levels, the state government has acted fast and furious and has banned terms like climate change and global warming from its official vocabulary. Good job. That really happened. You have a website as a footnote here. It's just unbelievable. And there's a nicer one. No, that's not that one. This is not nice, but it also has to do with nature. Spring has come. On the first day of spring, my mother died. She had always loved flowers and had turned our interior hallway into a luscious greenhouse. Father was not always happy about all the falling leaves. In her later years, when skiing was no longer hers, she hated winters, the long nights, the waning sun. She was always longing for spring, waiting for the day the morning sun lit up the kitchen counter again in her parents' house, where she was born and had grown old. The night before I had called her and told her that here in Graz, the first flowers were already dotting the gardens. She had smiled on the phone, almost inaudibly. Speaking had become difficult. Maybe one of her last images was that of colorful spring meadows. Today at 7:10 a.m. my mother died. Spring has come. I can continue without a microphone. You all can hear me? Yep. Okay. November 9, 2016. Remember what happened on that day? A certain Donald J. Trump was elected President of the United States.
Almost forgot.
I dedicate 4 lines to that event. The day, November 9, 2016, the day when even the not so faithful were tempted to pray for the future of the nation. Time travels. These days, looking around the globe, one might believe that we are traveling in time just in the wrong direction. Regression as progress seems to be the dominant notion of the day, creating wannabes in various disguises. Populist tsars, sultans, nationalists, dictators, assorted self-appointed saviors of their people's wealth and health, trumpeting fences, walls, tough immigration laws, etc., to keep out all those aliens who otherwise are welcome as our partners in the global trade that seems to dominate the world of greed. But we want to keep them out so we can all be ourselves again, whatever that might mean. Claiming to solve the problems of tomorrow with fantasies of yesterday is hopeless and quite dangerous. Do you remember what that glorified past actually was? That's a very explicit one. It's called Fake President. Talk shows and the yellow press get excited in excess over the shenanigans that delight his faithful fans. Rumors of these sex affairs, strong words for all macho players in the game of social thrones, texts with threatening undertones for minorities and women, treating immigrants like demons. Neither fans nor his opponents seem to notice the components of his White House strategy. Throw them bones, fodder for the yellow press. And while they fight, clandestinely out of sight works the Trumpian policy. Money laundering, blatant lies, scolding allies, breaking ties, adoring foes, praising those usurpers of democracies, experts in atrocities, slowly yet persistently undermine civility with foul language, fill all courts with servile judges, court the aristocracies of oil chiefdoms in the East, praising communist dictators who have helped him build his towers. Step by step, he's leading us from the group of international powers to an isolation desert at the margins of the world. Slogans we have rarely heard over decades, now re-nourished, twittered with presidential flourish, make America small again. Warning voices call in vain. No wonder the Statue of Liberty is hiding her face in misery. Footnote, this at the moment is still fake news, but I would not be surprised if she did. Helsinki. That's a limerick on. Two leaders once met in Helsinki for talks that looked somewhat kinky. As it turns out, still nobody knows what they were talking about. And that, instead, smells rather stinky. So we go back in time a little on political events. In the year 1990, I gave guest lectures in the University of Leipzig. And it was very obvious that the year before, the wall had come down and everything was new. A city owned in trades, in cultivation of the arts, based on industrious commerce of its citizens, who boast the world's oldest commercial fair. The city in which Martin Luther and Melanchthon led fierce disputes with delegations of the Pope, where J.S. Bach found stimulus and time to master harmony and rhythm close to perfection. And the city that was shocked listening to Leibniz's monadology. The city of which Goethe spoke with praise, that saw Napoleon defeated on the nearby battlefield and built a monument of quite imposing ugliness 100 years after the fact. This city suffered hard from 2 world wars, followed by over 40 years of dreams gone sour of a new society, until more recently, this city once again became a catalyst of major change. Yet those who held their meetings at St. Nicholas Church and by their stubborn protest helped to reunite the country separated by walls for generations, those you don't see walking the streets of Leipzig now. What strikes the eye, besides the crumbling blackened ruins of former glory and the strip-mined land just out of town, what meets the eye is Wall Street's new frontier, the bustling peddlers of new easy wealth as they appear on every street downtown, offering anything from oranges to shoes and South Pacific cruises. Ramshackle prefabs built on shabby parking lots already stake the claims of big banks, business and insurance companies that promise earnings, safety and security to eager though bewildered customers. Pecunia non olet, says the poster of the Postal Savings Bank, and shows a happy pig rooting in money. Old stores, in order to survive, have started selling new and shiny goods to happy new consumers. Only a few resist and hesitate to walk the mile for the melange of fast food, cigarettes and booze, if offered at makeshift stands that seem to symbolize the new great freedom of the new wild East. Go back even a little further in history. On my travels, I stopped at one of those graveyards in Verdun and felt I should write about it. It's called Summer in Verdun. The graveyards of Verdun are full with summer flowers. Children are playing hide and seek between the crosses. The parents, coke in hand, keep looking for the names of their grandfathers on the wooden beams, verifying the family album. Swallows dive steeply under darkening clouds slowly approaching from the west. You try your best to give them shapes and faces, them who in grey, noisy nights fell out of life, bright red leaves flushed prematurely by sudden frost. And of course there's not only history and politics, there are also pandemics. That one is a short one. He said, oh, Corona. There once was a beer named Corona, preferred by those teens with persona. They drank it with pride, but today they would hide. The delight has turned into a moaner. And another one, gallows humor. Never in my life have I imagined I would enter my bank, masked, ask for money, and they give it to me with a smile. Okay, this is the from my balcony section coming up now. Humankind. The other day, I occupied a chair at the sidewalk cafe, watching the Vanity Fair of the quotidian float by in quickly changing apparitions. An endless flow of different ages, nations, fashions, skin colors, mirrors, postures, and gaits kept passing through my field of vision. It made me wonder why some people get so furious when they just hear about, not even meet, the other different from themselves, that they start dropping bombs and shooting rockets. I think they rather should be curious and eager to discover how the immense variety of humankind can help expand a locally grown mind and recognize that we are all of the same kind. Oh yeah, now that's a totally different one. It's freely associating. Love, dove, bird, hurt, pain, rain, washing laundry, dryer, shrunk, too hot, summer, beach, tanned skins, bikini girls, lifeguards, bodybuilders, Schwarzenegger, Robocop, criminals, politicians, votes, lobbyists, corporations, special interests, stock exchange, oil price, pipelines, pollution, profits, leaded water, oily shores, banking, Wall Street, 99%, wealth, CEOs, distribution, education, defloration, exploitation, union struggle, Mac jobs, Walmart, Amazon, tax evasion, offshore banking, islands, caimans, reptiles, alligators, walruses, snapping turtles, manatees, albatrosses, birds, dove, love. Oh, this is a found poem. Mirror, mirror on the wall. What the hell happened? Mothers all. For those whose mothers are no more, the annual business hype of what to give and where to take your mother is but a sad remembrance of loss, stirring up memories of happier times when she was still a pillar in your universe, loved and revered, and sometimes feared, who taught you, patiently or not, the basics of survival in your expanding world. She knew, while you were as yet unaware, that all her loving preparations would over time mean separation. When you struck out to shape your life all by yourself and left her with her fears for you, her wishes, and the hopes that what she tried to give you was enough and right, your heart and mind were elsewhere, far away, focused upon the future of your independent life. Your years run fast and busy, and suddenly one day you stand before her coffin and discover that it is too late for all the questions never asked. What you have left are memories and the vague sense of having missed a chance to see, and maybe even understand a little, the woman she had also been throughout her life, behind her loving face of a dear mother's care and grace. Halloween, the night in which the dead come alive for a while, only to be frightened right back into their graves by the horrible masked spectacles of the living. cantata. During a starless, sleepless night, when thoughts and feelings are confused but strong, I hear Arcangelo Corelli's measured, jubilating voices praising God, and sense a master's pride, immodest in its musical perfection of transcendental adoration, reach out through centuries. The voice of human suffering, expectant of salvation, yet defiant, sounding victorious even in its most humble moment of timed defeat. The beauty of power born from fragility. That's a funny one. Sort of. Find the words. When we feel strong emotion, we often have no words that seem to fit our emotion. We coo and chirp as to the birds, or moo like cattle in their herds, and only gradually we find the words connecting heart and mind, so we can speak our feeling rather than reeling speechless in some unspoken but powerless bind. Okay, now we're looking inward, sort of. Strange bird. I am the night owl, flapping its wings stealthily through your dreams. With a soft, feathery touch, you may remember you once imagined like the figure at the end of the corridor, whose face always remains in the shadow. I am the solo of images growing from the dark, touching your mind gently, tapping at forbidden doors closed to the brighter hours. I am the prowler of twilight thoughts that lend shapes to your hopes and fears and desires, living their lives in between. I am the night owl that shudders and folds its wings quietly when the sun rises, always too soon, patiently waiting again until the day is done. Not about you. This poem is not about you. Even though your spirit is in every word, your voice sounds strong in the halls of my mind, telling me things I'm now sure I want to know. This poem is about me, trying to understand you. The kiddie tale. Birthday child. A grandchild for her 9th birthday, very happy to be away from her older as well as her younger sister for a while, spent a long weekend with her grands. They picked her up, school bag and bathing suit and guitar and everything else. She had already mentioned that French toast for breakfast would be really nice. Together with chocolate milk. 1 minute in the microwave, according to her wish. Patiently reading her book while the oldest got her act together in a slow morning routine. They all went birthday shopping and out for lunch. She read her book again while the oldest were snoring their nap, and then they all had great fun swimming and horsing around, watching some TV and then playing her ping pong game, happy and tired. After dinner, some good night reading, donuts and hot chocolate for breakfast next morning, and then, with Grandma's help, printing out card for Mom on Mother's Day and baking real brownies as a gift. The happy and proud 9-year-old was delivered to her parents and presented her mother with the card and the brownies and the new dress and the homework all done. Somehow the guitar practice had gotten lost. Yet she was the envy of all her siblings for the day. I had to prove I can also write rhymed poetry when there was a time. Shiny and bright. My friend said last night, I should write something light, something shiny and bright to the reader's delight. No fights and no terror, no soldier, no war, no suicide bombers, no refugees galore. After all, it's the season when together we sing of the love that we bring to each other within reason. So I'm doing my best not to make a clean breast of the worries that plague me. Cuddle deep in my nest, only welcome the guests who bring me good news and carefully wipe all the dirt from their shoes ere they enter my house. So, to rouse our good feelings, we all listen to the chimes of the church bells so appealing, and to a poet that rhymes. His hands. When the telephone rang at 6 in the morning, 4 days before Christmas Eve, I knew things were not right. They told me my father had died at 3 in the morning, and would I please come by, arrange for the burial, and collect his belongings at the senior citizens' home where he had spent the last 4 years of his life. They had rested him nicely. He looked at peace. I kissed him on his forehead, like I always had at the end of my visits, and cast a last long look at his figure before the body would be taken away. And suddenly I noticed how big his hands were. They've never seen so prominent before. As if in death they sent me a reminder of how much he had loved his hands, for work, for play, for sports, for fight, and for survival, to point and to gesticulate. They held me as a baby, and sometimes left me as a child. They repaired toys, split wood, built sheds, drove cars and motorbikes, were patient and precise, caressed and soothed and loved. They were his life. They held his world. My father's hands. So there is a sonnet inspired by Milton's famous sonnet on his blindness. No comparisons. It's called Milton Reconsidered. When I consider how my days are spent with work that leads to work, with little time for meditation except for a few moments now and then on trains or planes or in the car, at times I feel our Western civilization may not have taken us so very far. Not that I am ungrateful for electric light. It eases one of our deepest fears of nights that cast a dazzling darkness on creation, until another sun returns into our appreciation. Yet I do wonder if our brilliant sight, derived from deftly harnessed natural powers, makes us indeed see more of that strange world of ours than saw an old man's dimming vision under candlelight. Now there's another one with a little bit of a professional memory. It's called Short Midlife Crisis. A certain morning stiffness in your joints. You find your face in the bathroom mirror and wish you hadn't. The puzzled wisdom of middle age wavers from your eyes. Deepening wrinkles of many laughs, many frowns. How many more? Never more. The room becomes aflutter with poetic ravens. The presence of absences fills the void. The life is on the brink of deconstructing itself to the periphery of the universe, a discourse of silence forever becoming what? Never more. You close your eyes hard. When you look again, you meet the stare of a not so bad looking man in his best years, graying sideburns, receding hairline, 20 pounds too many, but a firm decision to work them off. Still a bit sleepy, yet determined to shave, get dressed, have breakfast, and teach that wonderful seminar of 19th century American poetry to eager graduate students. Well, Two more. Tending my heart. Now and again I tend my heart, leave facts and figures behind, and enter the realm of feeling, where, as in a primal ocean, float beings about to become, not easy to classify, almost before words. Somewhat like a school of amorphous, translucent jellyfish, good vibes float towards the loved ones. Predatory shapes speed by to attack unfriendlies. Luminous orange-blue flowers shine in the wake of good food and company. A bright red coral reef hovers like a loving kiss. Tumultuous slashing of the waves feels strong and overwhelming in blue, foamy white. I float back to the surface and, looking at the sky, whose blue is as deceptive as that of the waters, I wait for my heart to tell me which one to trust. Okay, and finally, the question which probably every poet has asked him or herself: why write anything? Sometimes I wonder why I bother to force myself to tell another what are my feelings and opinions. Why do I struggle to attempt to phrase words that inhabitants of faraway dominions might also understand, and not erase an alien text for lack of recognition of what it tries to say?